We're absolutely swimming in information these days. I mean, the sum of all human knowledge is right there in your pocket, which is amazing, right? But it also creates this massive challenge. So let's just dive right in with a simple but kind of tricky question.
No, seriously. Think about that for a second. With all the noise, all the different opinions flying around, how do you really know that what you believe is built on solid ground? It's way tougher than it sounds, isn't it?
And that's really the heart of the problem, isn't it? We have more access to information than any other time in history. But not all of it is what it seems. Navigating this whole information storm, well, it takes a whole new set of skills. We need a way to filter, to analyze, and to just think more critically about everything that's coming at us. All right, so to get started on this, we actually have to look inward first. See, the biggest obstacle to thinking clearly, it isn't something out there in the world. Nope, it's right here, between our own ears. I mean, let's be honest. We all love that sweet, sweet dopamine hit of feeling like we're right. It just feels good, doesn't it? Our brains are literally hardwired to give us a little reward every time we confirm something we already think. It's this powerful biological pull, and it's happening all the time, whether we realize it or not. And this thing, our brain's biggest blind spot, it has a name: confirmation bias. It's this unconscious tendency to just gobble up information that confirms what we already believe, and, to discount or ignore anything that challenges us. It's one of the most fundamental biases we have, and the trickiest part is that it's all happening behind the scenes, shaping how we see the world without us even knowing. So you can kind of picture it like this. Your brain is on a mission. It's actively hunting for those green check marks, anything that agrees with you. And at the same time, it's putting up this big shield to block anything that challenges you. And it's strongest when we're talking about really emotionally charged topics. Think about it. When you go to Google something, are you typing evidence that my opinion is wrong? Or are you typing proof that my opinion is right? Yeah, that's confirmation bias in action. And honestly, the very first step to fighting it is just knowing it exists. Okay, so how in the world do we fight back against our own brains? Well, our first strategy is all about learning to love complexity. It's all about embracing nuance. Let me ask you a super simple question. What color is the sky? Bet you have an answer ready to go, right? The obvious answer is blue. Of course it is. I mean, we all know that. But is that the whole story? But hang on. It's also red and white and gray. It can be a deep midnight blue or just plain black. And this just illustrates the point perfectly, doesn't it? The simple, obvious answer, blue, isn't the full picture. And you know what? Most things in life are just like that. They're way more nuanced than they seem at first glance. And here's the wild part. The sky only looks blue to us. It's because blue light has a short wavelength and it scatters more easily in our atmosphere. So the key takeaway here is that our perception is super limited. What we see isn't always the full reality. Just accepting that simple things are often way more complex, that is a huge step in learning to think critically. All right, so we're starting to see the nuance in ideas. But what happens when we try to talk about those ideas with other people? That's where our next strategy comes in: arguing with empathy. This idea, intellectual empathy, is an absolute game changer. It's this practice of just letting go of the need to win the argument. Instead, you genuinely actually try to understand where the other person is coming from. Think about it. It's not about winning, it's about understanding. That mindset is so much more productive than just trying to score debate points. Now, there's a really important catch here. This only works when both people are arguing in good faith. It's a two-way street. If the other person is just trolling you or not genuinely engaging, it all falls apart. For this to really work, both of you have to be committed to understanding each other. Otherwise, you're just wasting your breath. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. We've talked about our internal mindset. Now let's look at the external world. Once you're ready to start thinking critically, you gotta know what to look for. So let's talk about spotting some red flags. First things first, it is more important than ever to know where your information is coming from. Seriously, before you even start to think about an argument, look at the source. Who is saying this? What skin do they have in the game? You always have to be on the lookout for hidden motives. And this is just a fantastic way to think about it. You see some sciencey looking graph, and it might look super convincing. until you find out it was commissioned by, I don't know, a fur coat coveting Disney villain like Cruella de Vil. I mean, if you saw a study about how bad Dalmatian puppies are and it was funded by her, you'd probably be a little suspicious, right? It's the same idea. Always, always check the source.
Okay, next up is a classic sneaky tactic called the straw man fallacy. This is when, instead of actually engaging with what someone believes, you argue against a twisted, distorted caricature of their belief. Why? Well, because that fake version is a whole lot easier to attack. Here's a hilarious and perfect example. If I said, I prefer hamsters to gerbils, and you shot back with, oh, so you want to drown all gerbils? I mean, that's a straw man. Your response has absolutely nothing to do with my actual point. It's just a ridiculous exaggeration designed to make me look bad. And trust me, once you learn to spot this, you will see it everywhere. And right alongside the straw man is its close cousin, the ad hominem fallacy. This one's pretty simple. It's when you attack the person making the argument instead of the argument itself. It's really just a fancy Latin term for name-calling. And when a conversation devolves into that, well, it's safe to say nobody's winning. So we've talked about our own biases, the power of nuance, arguing with empathy, and spotting all these red flags. But let's take a step back. Why does any of this matter? Why should we even bother going through all this trouble?
Because let's be real for a second. Engaging in critical thinking, it isn't nearly as fun as just grabbing the pitchfork or getting that rush from feeling like you're fundamentally absolutely right. That feeling is powerful. This stuff, thinking critically, is harder. It takes work. It takes patience and a whole lot of humility. But, and this is a big but, in the long run, it leads to a more curious, educated, and, well, a more harmonious society. All that hard work pays off in a huge way. We end up with a world that's less divided, more creative, and just better at solving actual problems. And that, when you get right down to it, is the biggest win of all. So I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. After everything we've gone over today, what is one belief that you hold? Maybe something you've held for a really long time that you're willing to take another look at. Something you're willing to actually question.